Most of you are familiar, but I handed out that little timeline there because people that are not familiar with Core Plus Mathematics don't necessarily know that we now have students teaching the program who weren't born when the program started. That's how long it's been going on. And some people are not aware of that. And the research involved has been very, very extensive each time. And fortunately, NSF funded that kind of research because a typical published program cannot do that kind of research if it doesn't have funding to do continuous improvement. People get together and make changes in material, but it often is not tested in actual classrooms or reported in research journals. You know, we have evidence that students learn from the materials the way they are. So when we look at a revision, we think very careful about the organization, how it's prepared for students, how they can engage in it, what support there is for teacher, and talk with teachers about ways to improve that. We have always worked at technology tools as well as paper and pencil tools for students, that they actually do the mathematics and use various tools. With the second edition, if you're familiar with that, we developed public domain software that kids can download and use at home. The bottom two there, learning progressions and instructional approach. There has been new research released on the efficacy of learning with the instructional approach we have built into the materials where kids are actively engaged in mathematics and think about it, and the learning progressions. And some of you that are familiar with that will know about things such as the way we develop logarithms, where it actually is started as a scale in one course, and then you push it in common logarithms in the properties in another course, and then you do natural logarithms. And there's a lot of evidence that that is a very effective way for students to learn logarithms, which is a notoriously difficult topic for them to learn. So some of the things we did not change were many of the contexts, because we have research and evidence that some of these contexts really are valuable for student retention. The whale tail is a hook. They know that, and they move on to later courses, and they can use that context as a hook to recall the mathematics that was going on. And so we've not updated all those. If you take a look at what the Common Core is asking for, and you look at some of the problems that are there, you know, multiple representation and a focus on structure. The Common Core is calling for that. Here's a problem that was in the previous edition that we kept, because there's a lot of focus on structure and multiple representation in the materials already. So we do a lot of problems like this where they look at specific examples, and then they look at general cases and talk about what do those parameters mean. There's another one, you know, where they're comparing in with parameters, not with specific numbers, after they've done the work with specific numbers, parameters and coefficients. But number 23 was interesting. That one says, look back at connections 20, problem 20. What technology tool, if any, did you use? That was in the previous edition, before Common Core came out and said, choose and use technology tools in an appropriate manner. That already was embedded in the materials in reflection tests there, where let them choose it, let them do it, then have them reflect on what they did.